So today we will be covering, we already covered HBase data model, and we covered a lot of detail in HBase architecture, right? So today let's cover something, how HBase data model and HBase architecture comes when we go for implementation, right? So let's go quickly. So how do we need to open the HBase, right? So let's start from the beginning. So HBase shell start like this. So you need to write HBase, then shell, okay? And so it will open HBase shell for you. Yeah. Okay, so HBase shell started, right? So let's say if we want to see whether, sometime what happened that, see, HBase is dependent on two things. HBase is dependent on two things, right? Region and region server. Sometime what happened that region or region server might not have started. So to check it, just run any simple command. I'll tell you the command what to do. But if this command gives you some output, well and good. If this command gives you some error, then you need to do something. I'll tell you. Okay, that's a very good example, right? So what it says, cannot connect from Zookeeper Z node data node null. So it means, what it means that my HBase is not connected to the desired services. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, I will say exit. Okay, and then I will be checking these services, sudo service hyphen status hyphen all. So what it's gonna be saying, it's gonna be telling you us something related to HBase. So see, SD Hadoop proxy server, Solar Index, something. Maybe it is not showing here, but the most important thing what I need to be doing here, that we need to see whether HBase master daemon is running or HBase region server is running. Okay, so how to make sure that they are running? We need to write a command hyphen restart. What's the name of the server? Give me a second. Yeah, sudo service. We need to run HBase first master, right? HBase and then hyphen master, and then we need to say restart. Okay, so it will be restarted now, and then what we'll say that HBase hyphen region server, right? So this thing is important, right? Sometime it won't work, sometime it work. It depends. Okay, no region server. So 1 second, let it run. So sudo HBase hyphen region server. That's good. Hyphen region. 1 second. Sudo service HBase. The spelling is correct. Yeah, it should be working. Okay, let's see now. So let's go here. Let's go for HBase shell now. So what we did, we started the HBase master, restarted the HBase master, and we restarted the HBase server. Ideally, in ideal scenario, now HBase shell should be working for us. Okay, So let's see. Okay, now let's see list, any command you can run. Okay, so see, it worked, right? So we have 4 table I have created for you guys, and it worked for us. So what we did, we run 2 commands. The first command was HBase master restart. The second command was HBase region server restart, and it worked for us. Okay. So now the first command obviously is to check list of tables what we have created, right? So how many tables we have now? We have 4 tables, right? So if we want to describe any table, what we're gonna be telling? Describe employee. It will be in single quotes. Okay, so now when we talk about any table, right, in HBase, what we talk about, I told you that HBase will revolve around column families. So even though I described the table, it described the column families, right? And into the employee table, I have 2 column families, personal and professional, right? And what else is making sense to you? That okay, for the column family, block cache is true, block cache is true. It means for this column family, when we read the data, it's gonna be reading from block cache first, something like that. Okay, so now the question arises, how we need to create the table, right? How we need to create the table. So let's say create one table. Create. First, let's give the table name. Table name gonna be, let's say let's say Hadoop ecosystem. Okay, Hadoop underscore ecosystem. So this is the table name, right? Now we need to give first column family. The first column family, what we can have? Batch systems. And the second column family, it will be comma here. The second column family, we can have streaming systems. Streaming underscore system. Batch underscore system. Let's hit enter. So what it should ideally do, it should create one table for me called Hadoop ecosystem, and it's created, right? When I go for list now, it should give me Hadoop ecosystem as a table here, right? And when I describe Hadoop underscore eco underscore system, it should have 2 column families into it. The first column family name is batch system. The second column family name is streaming system. Oh, sorry, streaming name is, I put the name as wrong, okay? But streaming system, right? So this is good, right? So now let's say if I want to insert some data into it, right? If I want to insert some data into it, what I need to say? Put in which table? In Hadoop underscore ecosystem table. Ecosystem table, where I need to put table Hadoop underscore ecosystem table. Then which row ID? So let's create a row ID here. So row ID, let's say, is 1. Okay, my first row. Or no, let's make much more sense. We need to put data here for, let's say, Hadoop underscore v1. So this is my row ID. Okay, and in which column family I need to put data? Let's say batch system. So I'll say batch underscore system, and let's say in batch underscore system, I need to create a name here, right? And I'll say name comma hive. So what I'm doing here, let me explain this command to you. So I'm putting data into this table. I created a row ID. Then which column family I need to say? I need to say batch system, and I created a new cell or column called name, and the name of the column is Hive. Okay, let it enter. I did something wrong. 1 second, guys. So what students Hadoop ecosystem comma is missing here, and it should be fine. No. Put this
single quotation on name.
Single quotes. One second. It should be fine. Put. Then I go for ecosystem is good. Then comma is good. Then I create Hadoop v1 is good. Okay, this is comma is missing, right? Okay. So now one row is inserted. So for after every item, we need to put comma blindly, right? So let me copy this command and explain it to you. And I'll explain 2-3 things using this command to you. Let's copy it here. In fact, let's copy it here somewhere. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now what actually happened, right? I created a table called Hadoop ecosystem. So Hadoop underscore ecosystem is my table, right? So this is the table name. And inside this table name, I created 2 column families. What are the column families? Batch and streaming. Right. In the very beginning, I tell you that every row inside this table will always have 2 column families. The column families cannot be changed. The column families cannot be changed, right? But I can have columns added dynamically. So I added, see on the runtime when I'm putting data, I added 1 column here, name. So what it gonna be here? So it's gonna be new column, name, right? And I can add 1 more column here. Let's say I want to add 1 more column here. I will say version. I will say, what's going on? I'll say version. Version of what? Hive. So let's say the version is 2.0. So let's say on the runtime, I'm adding rows here. I'm adding the columns here on the runtime. What does it mean here? That I cannot add, once my table is created, I am not adding column families. I will add columns on the runtime. So here will be new column created, version. The same thing can be implemented for other column family, right? So behind the scene, when I'll show you in 2 minutes, there should be 2 different directories or tables files created, one for batch and one for streaming. So let's see quickly on the back, okay? So when I go here, I'll go to, okay, let me write Hadoop FS. I told you that is HBase is hosted on, the storage is hosted on HDFS. So I'll say Hadoop FS -ls. So there is a new directory called HBase. So let's see what inside this directory. So what we see, we have multiple columns here. We have multiple directories here. And some directories might look familiar to you from the last lecture, for example, wall. Since this is my pseudo environment, pseudo distributed environment, so there is one wall here because I have only 1 node cluster here, right? And then the most important thing is data. So let's go to data. So when I go to data, what inside the data folder should be? In the data, I'm using default. Like I haven't changed the database, so it will be default. Okay. So I'll go inside default. So inside default, I have a new directory. I have a new directory called Hadoop ecosystem. Okay. So let me go inside Hadoop. This is my table name. Okay. Eco system. So ideally there should be two column family here inside this. So we can clearly see there is one temp and one main data directory, right? So inside this directory, let's go inside this directory. Hadoop fs-ls, and now we should have two column families here. Perfect. So now what we can see here, that we have two column families here. One is batch system, first column family, and the second is streaming systems, right? Don't worry about the spelling, but streaming system, what I want to call about, right? And one more thing is region info. I don't want to cover it, but let's go inside batch system. Let's go inside batch system, batch_system. So now what should we have? We should have some data files here, ideally, right? No, because I haven't committed it yet. So let's go to where they should be in the recovered, in the region info, I'm not sure. But till column family we are clear, right? So column family is stored inside the HBase HDFS structure, right? Anyways, I'm not sure why it's not reflecting. Maybe we need to flush it or something, you know. So now, so you know that, okay, we have two column families. One is called batch system and another is called streaming system. Let's say if we want to see the data what we have inserted so far, right? So what we need to say, scan only table name. What's the table name? Hadoop _ ecosystem. Okay, so now what it says that, okay, you have row ID, Hadoop v1, you have this row ID, and inside this row ID, you have two particular inside the column family called batch system, you have a column called name, and then you have a value called hive, and see the timestamp. You have a timestamp called whatever the timestamp, you know, it's a it will be increasing number, right? And then we put a value here, 2.0, right? So this is how you need to put data into here. Let's put other data into streaming system, STRAMING streaming system, and let's say version is 2.0, and let's say name is Kafka. Name is Kafka. So streaming system is Kafka. Okay, so now let's scan the system again. So we have now 4 columns. Okay, so in Hadoop version 1 row ID, we have 4 columns and 2 column families, batch systems and streaming systems, right? So now let's say if I want to select, in fact, let me do one more thing. Let me change the row ID and I'll say streaming system name, and let's say Kafka streaming. So now if I go here, scan the system again. So I had one row ID is this, the second row ID is this, right? And let's say if I want to select only one row ID, right? So what I'll say, now I'll use get. Scan will go for full table scan. Now if I need to go for get, then I'll say get from which table? From Hadoop _ ecosystem table. Which row ID you need to get? Let's say Hadoop _ v1. 1 second, Hadoop, oh, comma is missing. I always miss the comma, sorry. Okay, so now it will only show you data for which table? Hadoop v1 column, row key, right? Till now, if I'm very clear, right? So now let's say from this particular column family, you need to see only name, right? You don't want to see the version. So what are you going to be doing? You still going to be using the same command, but here you will be putting something like so it will be same here, but here you will put in this way which column you need to select. So the column will be in case sensitive, so you'll say column in capitals and then implies, and then single quote, let's say you want to use name, or in fact let's say batch system. Here you will say the column is column family always, right? So let's say batch underscore system. Hadoop ecosystem column batch. One second. What's not working? So you will say get, then table name. Sorry, I need to say one more thing here. That's called row ID, right? So you will always go for row ID here. So I'll need to say here Hadoop underscore v1. So now what it gave us, that it only gave column family batch system to us, right? Now let's say if we want to say only name, I'm not sure it will work. Let's try. Yeah, it worked. So from batch, it only gave name column here, right? So let's say this is good here, and one more thing I need to cover. I should have written here. Yeah, so let's say if you want to select two columns at the same time, then what you're going to be doing, you will say, let me write it down so that I do not need to worry about it. Copy, and then I'll go here. I know these commands are not very user friendly, so I have an employee table. So first of all, I need to say, let's say here it's going to be Hadoop ecosystem for you guys. Hadoop underscore ecosystem, right? Column family. What is my column family? Let's say I want to have batch underscore system, batch system, right? Yeah. And then let's say from batch system, I need to say name, and let's say from batch system, I need to say version. And limit clause will work the same way it will work. So see, it will work, right? So from the Hadoop ecosystem, now let me try one more thing. If I say here strumming, will it work? Yeah, it worked. Okay, so if you want to select different columns, and if you want to scan the full table, but you need to select only limited columns, then you can use this command, scan table name and then column, right? So one thing which should be very notable here, that when you go for scan, and I'm assuming this thing, right? When you go for scan, it is the row ID is not important, but when you go for get, you will always need to get the row ID, right? Where do we need to change the row ID? Okay, for each one. Okay, so this is good, right? And now let's see one more thing. Okay, that's again a very important concept which I need to tell you. So this is and one thing which is notable, that this HBase is meant for OLTP. It means we can insert row on the real time, right? See, we are inserting rows on the real time. How long it is taking? It's very quick. It is very quick. So we can say H3V3 and it's in milliseconds, you know, and when you insert one row in Hive, it was taking 23 seconds or more than that sometimes, right? So it's very quick. And one more thing which is very handy here, that even we can delete things. Delete. Which thing which we delete? Hadoop underscore eco system. Okay, and which column family we need to delete? Let's say, which row ID we need to delete? Hadoop underscore v1, right? And let's say we need to delete it full. Okay, Hadoop underscore v1, and we need to give the column name. Column family name. So batch underscore what's the name? Batch underscore system, and that's the name. So deleted, right? So now, so what I did here, I deleted from Hadoop ecosystem table, from row ID Hadoop v1, from column family batch system, I deleted the name column, right? So when I scan it now, scan Hadoop underscore eco system. So now from Hadoop v1, we have only 3 rows, or we have only 3 column families. The first is batch system. In the batch system, sorry, 2 column families. In the first column family, we have only 1 column. In the batch system, the name is gone. Now, one more important thing which I need to tell you, right? And this question should came. So I'm telling you 100% time that, okay, HBase is inside, the storage is HDFS. In HDFS, we cannot delete things. In HDFS, we cannot delete thing. Row label deletion is not possible. Row label deletion is not possible. Then how HBase is working, even though HBase is hosted inside HDFS, or the storage is HDFS, right? This is the question, right? So what HBase is doing, it is doing a very clever thing. So what HBase is doing, whenever you are deleting something, right? So when you delete the cell in HBase, the data is not actually deleted, but a tombstone marker is set. Tombstone marker is set, and I'll cover the tombstone marker in 2 minutes, making the deleted cell invisible. HBase deleted actually are removed during the compaction. I'll cover the compaction in some time more, but there is a tombstone marker created. So what exactly is going on? What exactly is going on? That when I delete this cell, right? When I delete this cell, the data is still there in HDFS. What it did, it just played with this timestamp. So it put a value which is not readable with the HBase system. Some timestamp value which is not making sense to HBase system, and we are calling it what we call it, tom marker, right? Tombstone marker. Okay, this is how the deletion works. So deletion is, in reality, is an update. So when we delete our data, ideally what it did, so let me tell you now. So what it did actually, let's go here. So before deletion, there was one more row like this, Control C, let's paste it here. There was one more row with name here, right? There was one more row with the column family name here, right? And there was a significant timestamp here. So when we selected it, it was getting shown to us, and the value gonna be here, let's say Hive, right? And when we deleted it, so it put something absurd here, or I'm not sure what the value is. Let's say it put something like tombstone underscore marker here, right? So when HBase is selecting data, from column families, how it was selecting, how it should be selecting. It should be selecting like this. Select, and maybe I'm just assuming, right? Select star from CF1, the column family 1, where timestamp is greater than, let's say, some timestamp, right? So this timestamp is obviously not a valid timestamp, so it got ignored, right? Now the question arises. If we delete multiple rows, thousands of rows, millions of rows, then what's going to happen to these tombstone rows? So what HBase do, in HBase we have some activities called compaction. Okay, let me cover it quickly. Compaction, right? In compaction, what it is doing, it is removing these rows and compacting and reclaiming the space back, right? So there are two kinds of compaction. One is major compaction and one is minor compaction. In major compaction, what it is doing, it is merging multiple files and creating one bigger file, like one small file. These are H files, okay? So in compaction, there are two things are going on. One is obviously these rows are deleted, and other rows is these small H files will be merged into big files. So in major compaction, all the H files will be merged into one big file. In minor compaction, there may be from, let's say we have 100 H files, right? 100 H files behind the scene. So in major compaction, it will become 1. In minor compaction, it may become 50, 60, something like whatever the ratio is, right? And the compaction obviously is a very, very resource intensive exercise. So the Hadoop administrator will always do it in the off time, maybe in morning or something, depend upon the industry. So deletion makes sense to you guys, right? Let me see what else we have in commands. Okay, so we have covered creation, we have covered read. So when we talk about CRUD, right? So when we talk about CRUD operations, so we have covered create table. Create is create, read is put and scan. Now we have covered delete, and delete and update are basically interrelated. Inside delete is updating the timestamp, right? So the CRUD operation is correct. Now one more thing which I need to cover is filter operation, right? Filter operation, right? So when we talk about filter operation, how we need to select filter, there are multiple ways to go for filter operation, right? So first of all, filter is basically divided into multiple categories. I didn't have the slide for it. Let me show you. I filter categories. There are 3 categories, I think. So one second, HBase filter categories. Not sure what is this. So it's a column filter or something like that. I'm not sure, but I have the examples ready. I don't have the names ready. So to do any filtering, right? So first of all, you need to import this single value column filter if you want to go for single value column filter, right? So let's import one by one. Let's say if I want to filter on any one column, okay, so what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll import this thing here, paste, right? And then for single value, I do have the examples. No, so I'll go for binary comparator because I have the binary comparator example here for you guys. So I'll import the binary comparator as well. And let's say I want to, I'll go here, copy it, and I'll paste it. I'll explain it to you when I paste it. So what it's doing here, let's go from here. So let's say into our case, which table we need to filter? We need to filter Hadoop _echo system filter, this table, right? So yeah, this is single column value filter. So this is an example for binary comparator. So I'm filtering on one column, right? I'm filtering on single value column. So That's why I have imported single value comparator, a single value filter, and I need to use the binary comparator. So I have imported binary comparator, right? So I need to filter on single value column filter dot bytes, and which column family I need to filter on. So let's say I want to filter on batch system column family. Okay, batch underscore system, right? And let's say I need to filter on, let's say version, because version. Okay, and which operator I need to use. Let's say my version should be exactly equal to 2.0. 1 second. Uninitialize compare filter. Okay, 1 second, guys. Sorry. So let me import this as well. So for my examples, I need to import all three. And let me run that command again. Okay, so let it come. But it's taking time. Let it run. I'm not sure why it's taking time, but it should be. So let me explain that command in 2 minutes till the time it's running. So we need to import three things when we need to implement filter. The first is single value filter. The second is binary comparator, which comparator we need to use, right? And the third thing is comparator operator, comparator filter, like this one. So what I'm telling HBase here that, okay, please scan this table, right? Scan the full table and filter on which column. Let's go to column first. Name column. From which column family? From personal column family. And the value of this particular column, should be equal to, let's say, Nilendra. Okay, I have, if that doesn't work, let me run this. I'm not sure. Let's run this command. Okay, I got to know one thing. Let me say list. It is working. 1 second, guys. Sorry. Let me run it again. Okay, I came out of it. Sorry, guys. It should be here. Okay. My bad. I was running everything there. So 1 second, okay. So ideally it should run. Now list, it's running. Anyways, 1 second, guys. What it is saying, let's see quickly. So let's see what the error is, okay? So let's see the command first. So we are equal column family. This command should work. Scan, let's say I want to scan the employee table. SCAN employee. Sorry. EMPLOYE. Sorry, again, spelling mistakes must be there. So this is what spelling is mistake somewhere, EMPLOYE. List. So I'm doing EMPLOYE. let's say if I'm scanning Hadoop underscore eco system, what I'm doing wrong? I'm doing like even scan is not working now, right? So okay, connection refused. Okay. Stupid thing. Anyways, let me do one thing. I'll come exit. Okay, I'll come from exit from here. The connection is refused, so it means maybe I need to restart the HBase master. Okay, and then and this thing you can face. So this is how you need to remove. Ideally, this should work, and then we will start the region server. It is good, and let's say we go for HBase shell now. Okay, and let's say copy this. It's taking time. Maybe there is some connection issue into my side, you know. Some services are getting disconnected. Let's see. One second, guys. It's taking time. Only one topic remaining after this. Anyways, let it run, and hopefully you guys get this thing right. So if we want to filter, we can filter on single value filter, right? On the single value filter, what we need to say that, okay, please compare my column single value to a single value. So what I'm telling here, that from employee table, from the personal column family, and from the name column, please compare that name to Nilen, and please return me the rows. Okay, and let's say if I want to compare something, and the operator here is equal. If I want to go for greater or equal, then I'll see greater or equal. If I want to lesser for equal, I'll go for lesser or equal, and it will be numerical value here. Okay, now let's say one more thing, right? If I want to go for any value, so it's a big table. It's a big table with multiple column family, and we have 30 here, 30 here, and 30 here. And I want to say, please bring me every column which has 32 values into it. Doesn't matter which column family it belongs to. So we'll say value filter, and we'll say equal to here, and some value here. Okay, let's see if that works. So it's there now. So let me try just for your sake. These commands were working. Let's see. So I'll import this quickly again. So import done, and I'll run this command as it is from employee table. Okay, I have employee table. So yeah, I'm not sure. See, I didn't did anything magic, right? So what I did here, that I just run that command and tell that, okay, anything which is related to Nilendra, anything which is related to Nilendra in employee table, please give all the values to me. So it gave me my age, my department, and my salary. So this is how it will work, right? Now, so if you guys stuck like this, that okay, results are not coming even though they worked before, just restart HBase onto the region server, and so again it gave me everything where the value of age is greater than 30. So it again gave me my name. Okay, now let me run this command as well. So scan employee table, and give every value which has 32. So it only gave me one row because it has only one row. So let me show you how employee table looks like. Okay, so employee table looks like this. So it has only one row key. It has three values, one or one column family and two column families. And in the column family professional, we have 2 rows. In the column family this, we have only 1 row, right? Let's try to do one thing. Drop employee. Okay, so what this HBase is trying to say now, that okay, see, employee table is not disabled yet. You need to disable it first before you drop it. So let's do one thing, right? So we'll say disable, and this is very interesting. Disable, let's say employee. Now it is taking time. It is taking time, right? So it took around 2.5 seconds to drop the disable the table. Why? Because what it was doing this thing. So it was doing this thing. So when I disable the table, anything it checked the mem store. Anything which is in the mem store, it flushes it, like forceful flush was happening behind the scene. Am I making sense? So when I disable the table, it checked the mem store and it flushed everything to the HBase file, and that's why it took time. So now let me run the same command again. It will drop now. Perfect, right? So almost everything is covered except one thing. So now let's say if I want to connect, if I want to integrate Hive and HBase together. So what is the way, right? So what is the easiest way to integrate Hive and HBase is, so first of all, create a table in, let's say, in HBase, right? So I created this table should be there. So when I say list, so one table is there. So let's say test1 flight delays. Okay, so let me copy this to describe to you guys. Copy and describe, and I'll say paste. Sorry, describe, and everything should be in single quotes. So it has 2 column families: dims, dimensions, and measures. Okay, and now what I need to do, let's say I need to create a table in Hive which will integrate with this particular table in HBase. So you can give any table name in Hive, you can give any number of columns here, right? You can give any number of columns here, but the most important thing is this thing. When I say how this particular table is stored, right? Let me maximize it a bit. So how this table is stored? This table is stored as HBase storage handler. Okay, so basically what I'm telling that, okay, store this table in HBase, some HBase format. And the next most important thing is this table which is created in Hive, it is mapped to this table which is created in HBase. So if I go here, this is the same table which I created in HBase. Okay, one more important thing, I have 3 columns here, or 3 columns here, right? I have 3 columns here. So the first column key is the row key. The first column key is the row key. Where? In the HBase column. HBase column mapping. The first column is the row key. The second column, this particular career will go to which column family? Dimension. And this particular column distance will go to which column family? Distance. Let's say if I want to have one more column here, let's say origin, I can map it somewhere like this. So I'll have comma, will not have this thing. So I'll have something measures, and then I have, let's say, origin, and I'll have the bracket here, something like this. So the column families should be mapped to all the columns of the Hive table. Okay, so this is how it will work. So let's say we need to create this table in Hive. Okay, so let's start the Hive first here. This is the last topic. So we'll see. So let me start the Hive now. And let me do one thing. VI test data HBase. I'm creating one file. HBase. Okay. And so I'll say I'm just creating a test file for you guys. Let's say the career is American. And what is the next column? Distance. Let's say it travels 2000 kilometers. The second is, let's say, spice. It travels this many distance. The third is, let's say, test. It travels this distance. Fourth or fifth, let's say, whatever, and it travels 777 distance. I'll just say WQ, and now I'm connected to Hive. Now let me say create external table if not exists. If not exists, and let me run this command. Sorry. So the table should be created. Okay, and now table created, right? I'm going to describe this table. Describe formatted HBase underscore flight underscore delays. Sorry, describe formatted. Describe formatted. So what it will say that, okay, the survey is the serialization, the data in HDFS should be stored in HBase format. Okay, and what else important here? Yeah, and the storage handler obviously is HBase storage handler. Okay, so let's do one thing. So now let's go here. Let me see the PWD here, which I just created one file, right? So PWD, it's in home Cloudera. So what I'll do, load data local in path. From which path? I need to say home Cloudera. And what's the file name? What was the file name? Test data HBase. Sorry, here. Yeah. Test data underscore HBase. Where I need to load? Into table. Which table I need to load? Test1 underscore HBase. Sorry, test1 underscore flight underscore delays. So let's say enter. Table not found. Delays. Test1 underscore load data local in path. Test1 flight. Oh, sorry. It is the Hive table name, right? So Hive table name was what? The Hive table name was HBase flight delays. HBase flight delays. HBase flight delays. Load data local in path. Non-native table cannot be used as target. Okay, my bad. So let me do one thing. So what it is telling you guys that this table cannot be loaded like this. So let's do one thing. Copy. And so it is not able to load because obviously I'm not giving data in HBase format, right? So let me do one thing here. I'll go here. I'll put enter. And Okay, let's see. 1 second. I'm just getting something else. Okay, so I will create one more table with the same name, like with the same structure, and I'll call it HBase underscore stage table, and I'll just create it. Control C, paste, I'll say enter. Okay, and then I'll run the same command into not sure what's going on, sorry. Yeah, and now HBase underscore STG. So it is loading data now. Perfect, it worked. And now I'll say insert. I will load from staging to main table. Insert into table. What is the name? HBase underscore flight underscore delays select star from HBase underscore STG underscore flight underscore delays. Okay, so now it's working. Let's see. So let's scan. Meanwhile, let's do one thing, right? So we'll say scan which table? Scan test1 underscore flight underscore delays. Okay, so it has no rows as of now. This job is running. So meanwhile it's running, let me explain few more things. So first of all, let's delete this stuff. So what I did here, I did 3 things. First step was like, this is how to integrate Hive and HBase. Okay, the first thing what I did, I created a table in HBase. Create table in HBase. The second thing is create table in Hive with mapping to HBase table. HBase table and with storage handler. Okay, the third thing is create a staging table in Hive. Fourth, load data from staging to from 3 to 2 and from 2 to 1. So staging to main table in Hive, from main table in Hive to from main table in Hive, it will be automatically loaded to HBase. It will be automatic, right? So this is done, right? So now let's see. Let's go here and let's scan this table. See the magic, right? I haven't inserted data into the HBase table. The good thing was I inserted data into the Hive table, staging table. I ingested from staging Hive to the main table in Hive, which is connected to the HBase with the column and the column family mapped to the table columns, Hive table columns. So it came like this. Okay, so this is how we need to integrate. HBase and Hive. Now the good part is we do not need to worry about put command and all, right? We do not need to worry about that thing, right? Let me try one more thing for you guys, and I'm not sure what will that happen. So let's say if I put something here in this table, right? Will that scan will that result reflect here? So let's say select star from this table. HBase, this is my Hive table, right? HBase flight underscore delays. So it has 4 rows, perfect. And now let me put one more row here into which table? Test flight underscore delays. Into which column family? Into let's say row ID is 4 or 5, whatever. Let's say 5. And here it will come comma. I'm just trying to see whether it will work. Okay, comma and dims, and let's say we need to say career, CARRIER, and let's say I need to give value as my career from HBase, something like this. Okay, and I put enter. So what it says, suppose put in this table, in this row ID, in this career. 1 second, guys. I did some mistake or what? Failed to get reason. Failed to get reason org table not found exception. Okay, 1 second. So scan this. Okay, this is good. Oh, this is sorry, my bad. Test 1 should be here. Test 1. Okay, this is good, right? Let's go here, and I'm just selecting for the first time. So it worked. So see now what I proved it here, that if we insert some data in Hive, it will reflect in HBase table. If we ingest some data in HBase, it will reflect in Hive table. So both tables are interconnected. Now, what's the best part? Can you tell me what's the best part? So it means now you and people like you and me who don't know how to write scan command, filter value command, different stupid commands. So what we can do here, we can say select star from what's the table name? HBase. If we need to say, right, HBase underscore flight underscore delays, where what is that? Career, right? CAREER, whatever the career. CARRIER, CARRIER, career is equal to simple American. See. Okay, so this is how you need to integrate Hive and HBase. Okay, I'm stopping the recording.